In the latest version of Thrive Content Builder, you will find a new element that you can use to visualize data inside your content. Hello, I'm Shane from Thrive Themes, and here's a quick look at how the new data element works in Thrive Content Builder. When you open any post page or landing page in Thrive Content Builder, you can scroll down in your elements list to find the new data elements. And we've got 3 data elements to choose from. So let's start with the first one, which is a progress bar. To edit the progress bar, you just click on it and you have various settings. So first of all, of course, you can change the color to anything you like. And you can also go to the data settings right here to change various options. So first of all, you can change the label that is shown in here, and you can change the fill percentage right here. So maybe I want this to fill up to 80% like this. You can also change the label font size, make it small or make it large, whatever you prefer. Plus you can also add a border if you want. So you can add a solid border, for example, and you have to add a pixel value. So let's say 1 pixel that adds a border around the whole thing. And you can also choose, different types of borders and different types of displaying them. This one is a bit ugly, so let's get rid of it again. But this is your basic progress bar. Now let's save the changes and see what this looks like in a preview. So there we go. An important element here is that the progress bar animates. It animates and fills up to the percentage that you set in the data settings. Next up, we have the fill counter, and this is like a variation of the progress bar. It just animates and displays in a different way. So once again, we can change the colors, and you can also customize all of the colors, of course. If you want to use custom colors for all this, that's also an option. And then here in the data settings, we have various options. So you can change all these labels. And importantly, you can also change this. So by default, what you do is you'd set a value of maybe 60, and then you'd also set it to display 60%. However, you're not limited to that. So you can have a unit before and a unit after the number, and the unit after, you can leave that blank, and let's say we make it $60 instead, right? You can have a unit value before, or you just leave it blank entirely. And then you can also change the font sizes and all of that stuff that you're used to. So I also want to drag this down here to demonstrate something else when we preview this again. So let's look at a preview. And once again, you see the progress bar that we added before animating. And when I scroll down, that's when the animation of the fill counter starts. And that is true for all of these elements. So they only start animating once they appear in the viewport. So no matter where they're placed on a page, nobody will miss the animation. It will always get we'll always get this eye-catching animation once someone scrolls down to see them. Okay, and the third option we have here is the so-called number counter. Place this here, and once again we can change colors and all that. And this is a fairly simple type of data element. You also have some data settings. You can change all of the stuff. Basically all the data settings are kind of the same, and you can just play around with them to see what they do. But what the number counter will do is, if we save this, once it comes into the viewport, it will simply count up from 0 to the value you entered. So these are the 3 new data elements that you can use immediately in Thrive Content Builder and also in Thrive Leads: the progress bar, the number counter, and the fill counter. Now, if you've followed the Thrive Themes blog for a while, you've heard me say this before. With these data elements, there's a big warning here, which is use with caution. So quite simply, I have seen data elements like this used in a bad way, in a detrimental way, far more often than I've seen them used in a useful way. And I will link to another video that I did before when we introduced these kinds of elements in our themes, which goes into more detail with examples and so on of like do's and don'ts of how to use these elements, because you really want to be using them in a way that serves the conversion goal on your site. As a general guideline to follow, never use an element like this just for the sake of using it or just because you think it looks pretty. It's important that the element on the page should serve a specific purpose, and it should serve the visitor, right? It should be something that is useful for the visitor or that leads people towards your conversion goal. And actually, that's true of any element. And a lot of design mistakes and a lot of conversion mistakes happen when you forget that everything on a page should have a specific purpose. Now, you can also learn more about this. I made a video a while back about this with 3 simple rules you can follow to optimize pages like a pro, and I will link to that below this video as well. So check out the links below the video and let us know what you think about this latest feature addition by leaving a comment below.